Would like to call to order the study meeting of the West Valley City Council. This November 25th, 2025 at 4:30 p.m. We're in the multipurpose room of West Valley City Hall. Tonight, we are excusing Mayor Lang. The rest of the council is present. Councilmember Nordfeld, Councilmember Wood, Councilmember Whetstone, Councilmember Harmon, and Councilmember Hune. I'm Mayor Pro Tem Christensen, and I'll be conducting the meeting this evening. We're also joined here at the dais, or at the head table, however we want to call it, with Mr. Ifo Pili, our city manager, and Ms. Nicole Kamek, our city recorder. First item of business is to approve our minutes from the November 18th meeting.
I move to approve those minutes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor of those minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Next, we have some introductions of new employees. First, we'll ask Mr. Eric Bunderson to introduce his two new employees.
Mayor and council, I don't know if you noticed last week, I made them come last week as well. And I felt really bad about that. So we bought ice cream and it turned out for the best. Let me get to my little bios here. Okay, so first we've got Jenny. Jenny Escudero is currently pursuing her bachelor's degree in ethnic studies at the University of Utah. She volunteered at the Utah Crime Victims Legal Clinic and completed her state-required 40-hour victim advocate training during this time. She began an internship with our office back in February of 2025 and was hired on as a full-time advocate just last month. So we're really happy to have her. Spring over there got her bachelor's degree in science in May of 2025. She recently completed 9-month intern at Box Elder County Attorney's Office, go Bees, as a victim advocate. She starts her position as a full-time advocate last Monday. And so we're really happy to have them both. You know the hard work they do. And that's really it.
Welcome. Now we'll invite Fabian Zulo to introduce his new employee.
Good afternoon, City Council members. This gentleman right here is Brighton Dahl. We're excited to have him as our new employee and welcome him as part of our team. Brighton comes with us from Murray City. He's been working there for 7 years. We're very fortunate to have him come work with us. He has experience in graffiti removal, painting, building repairs, irrigation. He's just been great to have. His position with the city will be Facility Coordinator 1. So he'll be in our facilities division, in our maintenance division. And we're just thankful to have him. Thank you.
And finally, we'll invite Dan Johnson to introduce his 3 new employees.
I'm feeling a little underprepared. I don't have bios written, but we'll work on that. So this is Charles Polson. He is a courier in the fleet division. Helps us run parts and cars around and really quite a vital function. Greg Vanderweff is a street operator in the street operations division with the CDL, and Misi Awelua is a street maintenance worker in the street operations division as well. And we're grateful to have these guys with us, and we look forward to all the things that they are going to do with and for us. So thank you.
Welcome. And we welcome all of you here tonight. We're excited to see the family growing. The agenda for the regular meeting, any changes?
We do have one item been added.
If I read farther on, it's there.
Mr. Pastrick will be presenting. Yep.
Okay, Mr. Pastrick. We'll take care of that additional item we're adding on.
Just needed a quick refresher on my way up. So we each year since the homeless shelter was opened in West Valley City, we have an interlocal agreement between us and the Department of Workforce Services at the state for the city to receive mitigation funding. And so again, this year we have a contract that we will be receiving. It's close to $550,000. And again, the purpose for these funds is to cover the cost of public safety, so police and fire response to the shelter. And so again, it's just a way for the city to get reimbursed for at least most, but not all of our costs associated with the shelter.
Okay. This is the temporary shelter, right?
Yeah, yes, the air quotes temporary shelter.
That's what was in the news last week.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was introduced to us by the state that way 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So
That's why I said that. Okay.
That's
Next.
typical to have a less than a year contract period.
yeah, so what they've done, and it's just how the state does their budgeting, but it takes us through a part of the year, and then they amend the contract once they have a better idea of what the funding will be, and then they will extend it through the rest of the year.
Any other questions?
How long they gonna stay there? I know it's temporary right now, but
That's the $1 million question. So I'm sure the council's heard that the state has acquired property in the far corner of, north corner of Salt Lake City for a large shelter. I believe it's 1,300 beds. Once that's open, our hope is, and at least what we've been told, is that our shelter was not intended to be a permanent shelter and that it would be closed. If I'm being honest, I'm not entirely convinced that that will be the case.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have some public hearings scheduled for December 9th. You didn't turn your page as
I
fast as I
must have
did.
turkey on the brain tonight or something. So this item is a request to change the general plan and zoning for a property at 3801 South, 6400 West. So it's about 2.4 acres. The general plan right now is large lot residential. And the requested general plan designation is low density residential. The zoning right now is the A2 zone, which requires a minimum lot size of 2 acres. And the request is to go to a combination of the R18 zone and the A zone. And so if I go to this next slide, this is the property in question in red. You can see it's surrounded entirely by homes. And it's a little awkward shape. There are a couple of homes on the property right now. And here's a close-up of that. So the home on the north there has a detached garage and a barn. And then on the south end, that one also has a detached garage. This proposal would retain those two homes. So it's a family that's owned this property for many years. They want to retain those homes. And then this next slide shows the concept. So there'd be a new cul-de-sac that would come in and allow for the creation of 6 new lots. And then the other 2 lots, so the one that's labeled as 7, which is down here, and then this one here that's not labeled, would be for the 2 existing homes. So this one, the larger home to the north would be the A zone. So that would be zoned from A2 to A. And then the balance of this would be the R18 zone, where you would have the existing home and then 6 new homes is the proposal. And again, this, our code does of course require a public street. So this would be a public street with the cul-de-sac there is the proposal. This just shows that the property here that's kind of this U-shaped, the family also owns this. It's about 16.5-foot strip of property that would become part of this larger development, but it's already zoned R18, so it would just become part of this development. These are the renderings, or one instance photo that the applicant provided to us, just to illustrate the types of homes that they would build. Now, what's not shown on all these is they did commit to 3-car garages. So the ones that show 2-car, the commitment is that they would do 3-car garages is the proposal. Just by way of some background, so this pictures of the home that's on the north side of the property. And then moving to the south, this is the home that's kind of in between. So if we go back to the aerial for a minute, you'll notice that there's this, a little bit too far. There's this home that's kind of in between. So what's a little funny how this worked out, this property actually has curb gutter and sidewalk, but then to the north and south does not. So as part of this project, they would be extending the curb and gutter across the frontage here. And so going back to the pictures, this picture is the home that's in between, so that's not a part of the project. And this is the home that's on the south end that would also remain. This is just looking straight north on 60 or 6,000 West, 6,400 West. And so you can see here that the where there's no curb and gutter is the front of the home that's on the south end. And you can see again where the curb and gutter picks up in front of the home that's not a part. This is just looking to the northwest again on 6,400 West. And then finally, so here again, the home in the foreground is the home that's not a part, but you can see kind of the barn out in the back that's behind the northern house. So again, to summarize the request, it's a combination of the A zone for the one lot on the north end. I go back to the concept plan, which I think is probably the most helpful here. So again, this lot to the north would be zoned A for the existing house. R18 for the balance. These 6 lots would be for new homes, and then this one would be for the existing house that's on the south end. And they did include a development agreement proposal that is in your packet. And just to hit on some of the high points there. So again, 6 new homes. A couple of exceptions they're requesting from some of the standards in the code. So in the A zone, the minimum width for lots would be is 100 feet. So they're asking for 90 on this lot here. And again, I think in this case, some of the exceptions are being requested just because this is an infill project, it's a shaped parcel. And by the time you put in, the new road with the cul-de-sac, you're sort of limited on what you can do. So that's one. The other recognizes that this frontage here is already 65 feet and there's a home on this already. So it's just acknowledging that that would be 65 and it's kind of already that way. House size they're proposing, single levels would be 1,500 square feet and then a multi-level would be 2,250. All the homes would have a basement. I mentioned the 3-car garages. Another exception they're hoping for is there are a couple of lots in this concept where the depth is just below 90 feet. And so in those cases, they're hoping to have a 15-foot rear yard setback. So normally the rear yard setback is 20. But again, part of the challenge here is because we do require a cul-de-sac for a road to terminate, we don't do a hammerhead or just a dead end. That creates kind of a pinch point for them. And so these couple of lots here on the end are a little bit narrow. You can still fit a home, but by having a little bit of flexibility on the rear setback gives them a little bit more flexibility on positioning a house on those 2 lots.
It's the 2 in the corner.
There'd be the 3 and 4 in this concept that are just shy of 90 feet.
Can you maybe explain why lot 2, like lot 1 and 2, those rear property lines don't line up with 3A?
Yeah, that's something that I think could be adjusted, at least between 1 and 2. So part of it is, and again, it's a little bit tricky to see, these are small numbers here, but there's enough room to where perhaps lot 2 could be widened a little bit so that it's still 8,000 square feet, but then they trim off the top so that at least 1 and 2 are aligned. So I think there is, again, this is still conceptual, but I think there's room for some massaging of this and because that is a little bit awkward to have that one jog out.
Well, that jog out's kind of by that barn. So the barn is right there.
They're
You could
trying,
jog in instead of jog out.
I'm guessing they're just trying to do it to get to the 8,000.
Right. And right now lot 2 is like 8150, so it's close. Yeah.
But they could move that property line on lot 1. The stars out a little bit to get them both at 8.
That would definitely make it, I think, and that kind of fine tuning we can definitely do as part of the subdivision.
Then I'm guessing on that, one that's going to A2, they're gonna keep the barn and the outbuildings on that.
So the garage, yes, I believe the barn may be going. So on that, again, I think at the end of the day, I think it partially depends on where the lot lines ultimately end up. But I believe that the barn is likely to go.
And then I had a question on the 3-car garage. Was that the builder / developer that wanted that, or is that a city ordinance?
Good question. So the developer originally had asked for 2-car garages. The code actually requires 3, so they were asking for an exception. And the planning commission looked at this and said, you know, these lots are actually wide enough. Now to be clear, this would only apply to the new homes. So the existing homes would just keep the garage that they have. But the planning commission said, you know, at least width-wise, there's enough space, so they didn't feel like granting that exception. So they just said, let's just stick with 3-car garages, which is in the code.
So, yeah, because I mean, I don't have a problem with the 2-car. And a lot of the buzzword lately is affordability, and adding a 3rd-car garage is gonna make the home more expensive. I don't know how the council feels about allowing the option for a 2-car. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know how many of you have 3-car garages, but I think that might be an option to provide. Maybe somebody would be able to afford a home with a 2-car rather than a 3-car. Just throwing that out there. Does everybody think about that?
When I built my house 22 years ago, we did a 2-car garage. Just my biggest regret. I wish I would have done a 3, so.
I know in my neighborhood, we have 3 and 2-car garages, and that was big. People chose 2 because they couldn't afford the 3-car.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts? Sounds like the builder wanted to offer 2 or 3.
There's 2 things going on here. Affordability is definitely a consideration that's big on a lot of people's minds right now. But when we made the code to require 3, we thought that our city needs more variety. And we have a lot of affordable housing, but not a lot of housing that people can then graduate to when they have better circumstances. And so they've been moving to West Jordan or Harriman because our city didn't provide the level of housing that they were seeking for after they had attained a level of success.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I do. There's a development close to me. It's called the Day subdivision. If you remember that one, Steve, on 5200. And they've all got the 3-car garage and they are so jam-packed in there. Aesthetically, it's not great. And then they've left one of the existing homes in there totally out of place with a 2-car garage. And so that's what I'm concerned about is, are we squishing these big houses in there, not giving an option? So I'm just throwing that out there. I wouldn't be opposed to them being able to, maybe we say, you know, half 3-car, half 2-car, something like that. But if you're all for 3-car, then I'm.
Well, we also push for bigger lots.
Right.
Why doesn't this fit into that requirement?
Sure. So the area that for the R18 zoning is below 2 acres. So that was the cutoff. Anything that was 2 acres or more, we basically didn't, R18 is not an option. So the area that's being requested for R18 zoning is less than 2 acres.
Are they kind of getting around our rules by keeping some A and having the part that's changing to be less than 2 acres? Because the entire thing is more than 2 acres.
That is true. So the entire piece is about 2.4, and then you throw in the sliver, it's a little bit more than that. So we have had other properties that have rezoned a portion of the property, and that's been approved. So I think it's possible, but again, at the end of the day, I think the council could still decide to not rezone the to R18.
And then lot 5 kind of looks like a flag lot almost. Very little frontage on lot 5.
Yeah,
And that's gonna have a driveway that goes clear back to. So. I don't love that.
I don't have a problem with the smaller lots. I just, you know, not every. Again, affordability, interest rates, the big homes, they're great, but who's gonna buy that type of thing? And it's maybe what we get 3 big lots in there. Or,
One of the real challenges here is, again, just given the shape of the property.
get anything. in
If
there.
you did, for example, RE zoning, it would be really difficult. Again, especially when you're trying to work around the existing homes and put the road in, it just makes it much more difficult.
Well, if we were gonna stick it to RZ or RE, then you would just combine lots 1 and 2, and you combine lots 3 and 4, and combine lots 5 and 6, and you'd only get 3 instead of 6.
Yeah, and with 7, it's kind of like the leftover. You'd have to figure out something to do with 7 because it's like 9,000 square feet. So.
And again, would they fit into the neighborhood?
So in terms of surroundings, the property north and west is R18, east is R17, and the south is kind of a split between 8 and 7.
Yeah, I think the R18 fits this area, this neighborhood, based on the other surrounding homes around it. So I opened the can of worms with the garage, but
By the way, I like option for 2-car garage and 3 too, but I don't,
yeah,
if we don't have enough folks, so.
I would be fine with 2-car on lot 5. Still,
out of it.
but everything else, I don't see what. So like it is as presented. I spoke to several people, including people that were at the planning commission meeting, and they like it, the neighbors like it.
Okay.
Any other questions? Steve, anything to add?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Is the applicant here?
There's the applicant.
Yes, yes.
You want to say anything?
Good evening, council. Jay Cohn with Grow Development. This is after our Wilkins Hollow project with you guys, we thought West Valley City is great. We're going to keep looking. So this is our now third project in the city in the last 12 months. This one's really cool. So this is the Burke family. It's a third generation farm family that their grandfather built the property back in the mid 50s. Was operated a tomato farm and an onion farm there for a long time. And the little C shape, the son is in the middle, and in the far south home is the grandson who lives in the south home. And so he'll stay in the southern home, the son will stay in the middle home, and then the father who passed away. It's not required as the deal we have struck with them, but they asked if the father's home could stay there. And as you know, the value of a home is pretty great. And so if we keep that on a half acre, it far outweighs knocking it down and utilizing that as well. So that's kind of the story behind the property and just how it's shaped out and the way that we've figured out a way to do a subdivision in there. As far as the lots go on that one property line on the north for lot 1, we had to jog it to keep a 10-foot setback on the northern home. So that's kind of why that's a little funky along that line. And then lot 5 in the back corner, we would actually follow the city's standard for a flag lot for that piece. So that lot is above 12,000 square feet to meet the flag lot requirement. And then kind of as an overall, we're about 10,000 square feet on the average lot size. So it's the R18 zoning, but we just have those couple of lots that are around the 8,000 square feet. The rest are quite a bit larger. I agree with you, council member, on the garage requirement for a third car. I think it's a good thing to have as an optional item. Today, due to costs, most home builders charge about $50,000 for the third car option. That adds, with interest rates and mortgages, about $500 to $600 a month in payment. And so is it a good thing to have as an option that buyers can upgrade to? Absolutely. And we have the space to do it. But that might be the difference in someone being able to get in the community or not, by being able to have just a 2-car. So we'll agree to require it on all the lots. If you choose to allow it to be an optional item, we'd love to have that as well. So any questions for me regarding the project or kind of what our intent is? Okay, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay, let's move on to our resolutions. First resolution is authorizing the execution of 2 agreements with Payer Matrix LLC for public health care administration services. Ms. Melgar.
Yes. Good evening. Here to talk about Pay Matrix. As you may know, specialty medications account for 40 to 60% of the total health plan costs, and Pay Matrix is a select health specialty drug advocacy program that offers a strategy to reduce these expenses by shifting specialty eligible specialty drugs costs to external assistance programs. This approach can generate substantial annual savings for the city. Pay Matrix partners with self-funded employer health plans like ours to manage, to manage specialty drug spending. Members receive support to obtain these medications through manufacturer patient assistance programs rather than going through the plan's pharmacy benefit. Pay Matrix is staffed by professional healthcare that work directly with members and help members secure alternative funding through manufacturers, foundations, and grants. And most members pay little to no out-of-pocket cost once enrolled. So the city is seeking to control rising health insurance premiums by shifting high-cost specialty drugs from Select Health to Pay Matrix. There are currently 11 specialty medications that are eligible for this transition. Members would continue receiving these medications at minimal to no cost. If there's any cost, they say it's like $25 at the most. To move into this program, they get their compensation through 25% of the monthly savings generated by them. Select Health charges a $3.50 per employee per month administrative fee to set up the program, and then they maintain the adjudication system with Pay Matrix. Costs are covered within the city's existing self-funded health plan, and so we are not requesting any additional costs. We would like to recommend this program and ask you to approve the agreement with Pay Matrix to reduce special medication costs, help control our rising health insurance premiums, and also reduce the employees' out-of-pocket expenses. Do you have any questions?
You said about self-funded. How long have we been doing it? It's about 4 or 5 years now.
7 or 8.
So we're doing okay.
Yes, we're doing good so far, but we're trying to reduce premiums and control some of the expenses that we have and some of the specialty drugs. For example, one of the most expensive is Stelara. It's an injection, and that in 2024, the net cost for that was $265,000 just for that one drug alone. So by moving them out of the plan into Pay Matrix, we're reducing that cost on our health insurance plan.
Was there a list anywhere of those specialty drugs?
I can send it to you if you'd like. Yeah.
How will the employees find out about this?
How will they find out or how? Okay. So what if the agreement is approved, we will have an effective date. We're thinking either January 1st or February 1st that they'll start contacting employees and letting them know of this transition and making sure that they are all enrolled with them. They have an assigned professional at Pay Matrix that will work with their doctor and to get the prescriptions that they need. And then they contact foundations, grants, and other manufacturers to get these prescriptions to them at no cost. I think it's home delivered to them, and they can get up to like 3 months of medication at once instead of to go every day, month to the pharmacy. So. And the city will work to make sure that employees get mails, that they know Pay Matrix is working with the cities. And so we'll make sure that the employees are also informed and assist them with questions.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next resolution is 25-182. Approving the purchase of a vehicle and related equipment for use by the fire department.
Good evening. We're requesting to look at a new program. This program, excuse me, we're going to look at a squad concept. Basically, we're asking, it's a Ford pickup truck with a slide in. What we're trying to do on the east side of the city, where there's a lot of call volume, we're trying to spread the call volume out, lessen the calls. But what this will do is on certain calls, this unit will run instead of the big heavy apparatus. So we're gonna try to save some of the heavy apparatus. This unit for right now will be located on the east side. We will try this. If it works, we eventually will try to, in the future, put one on the west side. But this will cover the areas basically with station 73 and 75, which is the entire east side. And so the cost here, the 84,000 will be coming out of the ambulance fund.
This won't be an ambulance as such.
No, it will go with an ambulance instead of the heavy apparatus on certain calls.
Okay.
It will also be available for fires. So on the east side, this unit will go on fire responses too.
You just had to explain what heavy apparatus was.
The engines, the ladder trucks,
Oh, now you.
we're running them. And so this will just really it's to try to lessen the call volume with the personnel on that east side.
Any questions?
The squad coming from other areas, or is this the recent growth that we've had hiring new individuals?
Well, we're staffing it with some of the new individuals.
Or are you pulling from other?
No, it's with the new individuals, but there'll be a rotation though,
Right.
to answer your questions. It won't be probably the same people every day. We will staff that unit though with medical people.
At stations.
Right now, it'll be right now, until 75 is done, it will be at station 73 on 2700 west and 28 south. And it will cover the area even with station 75. So it'll cover pretty much to on the west side, a little bit of Bangerter Highway. So up to the river. The concept we're going to try, I think it'll work.
Is that we the new one here in this valley or this idea?
Yes and no. Some have tried it different ways. This will be the first way that we're staffing it 24 hours a day. I'll date myself. When I started here, yes, we ran a squad.
Before any of us were born.
Wow. That hurts. Any questions? Thank you.
You, Chief. Our next resolution is 25-183. Awarding a contract to A to Z Landscaping to perform maintenance tasks. Jason.
Jason Erickson, Parks and Recreation Department. As you guys know, since 2020, it's been really difficult for us to find and hire seasonal staff with the number that we need in order to maintain our turf areas in the manner that we would like. In order to help with that, we've also rotated some additional full-time staff onto the mowing crew to kind of help with that. But as part of that, it's kind of made it so other jobs don't get done that we would like to get done, in as timely a manner. It's also made it so our turf areas aren't they look shaggy, right? So the trimming's not getting done, the edging and stuff like that is not getting done. So this contract will cover the mowing, trimming, edging, blowing, fertilizing, and weed spraying of our turf areas here in the city. A program modification was approved for the purpose of this at the beginning of the budget year. We did issue an RFP and 12 companies responded, and A to Z was our lowest qualified bidder. So we would recommend awarding it to A to Z.
Why we have the option to extend this for 4 years?
Just to save on the bidding, because a lot of times the costs will go up. When you bid it every year, the costs can go up and to save staff time.
Costs will go down too.
That's not been much of my experience, especially in the last few years, but you're right. Costs can go down.
Yeah, they can compete each other. You give more, basically give them an option, they have a upper hand.
But I had a question. Is this the first time we've used this company?
No,
Okay,
yes, so they are finishing up their last contract with us.
then I noticed on the list of properties, the 3 new church properties were listed separately. Are they included in this cost?
They are. Yeah, when we originally went out to bid, that hadn't been approved by council yet, so we didn't include them in the bid, but yeah, we did.
Just for clarification, that option also extends the other way, right? I mean, we have an option to bid as well, just to Councilmember Hume's point.
Yes.
So we can choose.
Yes, we can end it. Yeah, we can end it, after the first year if we wanted it.
We foresee that cost may be going down.
Yes,
Or just rebid if the costs go down.
correct, yes. Yeah, I'm sorry, you are correct.
The city's already owns equipment to do this work. Are we repurposing that, or can we just hold on to mowers that we have? Or
The smaller mowers we would probably hold on to because we would maintain unimproved areas with those mowers. And like in the fall, like right now, part of the contract, they only do 1 round of leaf removal. So we would go and use them to help do leaf removal in the fall. We do have 2 very large mowers that we use, that large turf mowers that have the wings on them that come down, and we are due for getting another one, and they're about $200,000 for a new one. So we would need to replace one as well, but the old ones do go to auction.
this is a weird question. But I was at the Centennial Park walking around the track. And last week on the southeast corner of the grass, it looked like maybe a big piece of equipment was just going back and forth on a short distance. I wondered what they were doing there.
Was it a big blue piece of equipment?
It might have been blue.
So we have a company out there called Firefly that is, they are developing a GPS guided mower.
Oh,
And so they're a West Valley company, and so they've asked if they can test that mower on
Figure out what was going
on
on.
our grass. So it's actually been very nice because it's a nice mower, and it
Yeah, okay.
leaves lots of nice lines so it makes it look more like a golf course.
Okay, I wondered what they were doing.
Yep.
Right. Wasn't such a weird question.
Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Consent agenda next week on December 9th. Usual deeds and appointments to the Healthy West Valley and Clean and Beautiful Committee. Any questions on these items? We got just a few more minutes yet. So any questions on the consent agenda? Any of the other resolutions that you would like to add to the consent agenda? Okay, hearing none, we'll keep it as is. And now, communications. Mr. Arslanian,
Yes, sir.
would you like to talk to us about my concern last week of the Heritage Gate?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, since you brought it up. And I'm here to give you a little synopsis of what we're doing. And to those who don't know the history of the Chinese Gate, to give you a little history on it, not to prolong everything. So the Chinese Gate was a conglomerate between West Valley City and our sister city, Nantou, that together with Mayor Li Chao-chen, the former mayor of Taiwan, wanted to gift the city a Chinese Gate with the local Chinese Heritage Foundation got together and designed this beautiful Chinese gate. And the gate was built in Nantou, Taiwan, shipped over to West Valley City, and then the master builder with 3 or 4, I believe, of his helpers put the gate together and erected it. And it was dedicated and blessed, or whatever you want to call it, in October 1st, 2012. So it's been a while since it's been touched, and 40 feet long and pretty tall. It's beautiful from distance. So, but however, when you come close, you see that it needs some help. So we put a program mod together, and this council approved that this year's program mods. And as of July, we started inquiring of some painters, contractors within the city and the state. Nobody wanted to touch it. They were so scared of the intricacies and how much work it takes to repair or repaint. So we inquired some help from Terry Chen, who was involved at the beginning, an employee of West Valley City in the police department, who is part of the Heritage Foundation, and I believe he is the president of it right now. So he gave us the name of the original master builder, whose name is Zhu Fuxian. And obviously, I don't speak Chinese. That's not one of my languages. So we asked Terry to communicate with him, see if he will help us come to Utah and renovate the gate. So he agreed, and we are putting together a schedule and how we could bring him in. We wanted to have it pretty quick, sometimes maybe this coming spring. He said, no, I would rather have time when it's summertime where rain is not an issue. So he wanted to be here July or August. So we're negotiating with him early July. And what is it involved is that we pay him to come to Utah, pay for the airfares, room and board, per diem for food and transportation. And he will volunteer or not volunteer, ask several other helpers that would help him paint after he renovates the gate, the Chinese gate. So what's going to happen is he's got some demands. He wants the scaffolding all the way around, all the way to the top of this beautiful gate. He's going to spend 2 to 2.5 weeks of patching, fixing, renovating. Then the other 2.5 weeks will be actual painting. He's asking us to provide him with all the equipment, because he can't bring all that stuff with him, all the equipment to do the patching and the supplies. And he gave us a list of all the paints, and it's an automotive type of a paint that comes from Germany, of course. So we ahead of time going to purchase all this stuff and have it all ready for him to come and do the job. The first 2.5 weeks, he'll be alone, working on patching and fixing it. Then he will bring on 2 more individuals to help him paint. So we're hoping that by the end of July, middle of August, if he agrees coming July 1st instead of August, we'll have the Chinese gate completely done, and we'll present it to you at that time. Any questions?
Scaffolding won't stay up as long as scaffolding around another building in the city or in the area.
He will have this, yes. And it makes sense because you cannot go up and down with a ladder or
Yeah.
something like this.
Yeah.
So he insisted on having a full scaffolding with levels that he could reach all the way up.
It'll be up for about 5 weeks or so.
It'll be 5 to 6 weeks. Absolutely. But he guarantees that it's going to be as good. Well, of course, it's going to be as good as the original because he was the original builder.
And does Terry know about this arrangement?
Yes, obviously, we've been using Terry to communicate with him. And I haven't talked to the gentleman. And Fabian and I have been working with Terry to make all this arrangement happen. And originally, he sent us colors. He says red, green, yellow, banana. And I'm going, okay, is there a number that associate with these colors? So he's sending us those colors and he's very adamant where they come from to guarantee his job.
Okay. Maybe that's why Terry stopped calling me.
I hope so. I hope so. And we're dedicated to help out and do whatever we can to make this go smoothly and complete it properly.
Great. Questions?
Is the budget adequate to cover everything you mentioned?
So obviously, that's a good question. Not knowing what it takes to build or remodel or clean up or fix this gate, I put in a budget of $80,000 and we're hoping to come way below that.
Okay. Anything else?
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Jake.
You bet.
Yeah, it's time for some more training. So, Mr. Bunderson, would you like to tell us how to use land?
I wish. Merrick Bunderson, Mayor Pro Tem, Council, as part of my semi-regular training. We're going to talk about subdivisions today. A couple little housekeeping things first. When last we spoke, the 3 subjects that I got from you were subdivisions, that's tonight. Variance procedures, we'll still get on that one. And then the charter schools, Brandon sent an email to me that should have been forwarded to you, I believe, about the charter schools. We can follow up on that if you want, but that one was unfortunately pretty simple. So just let me know on that one and we'll do variances next. First, as Steve said, as turkey is on our mind, I wanted to talk a little bit about the least liked Thanksgiving food. In a survey of 1,595 adults last year, between these 7 things, I want you to tell me what the least favorite one is. I think it's pretty easy. So we got turkey, mashed potatoes, rolls, pie, stuffing, gravy, and Brussels sprouts.
The green one.
I really like Brussels sprouts. So what I told you last time still holds true to this training as well. And that is that you as the city council are at your most powerful when you're doing zoning decisions. That's when you have your legislative power, which allows you to say yes or no, just like the thing we talked about a few minutes ago. There's 2 other types of council sort of, I don't know if you'd want to call them standards or powers. One is one we don't use anymore, which is your judicial power. That's when we used to do grandma appeals and things like that. And you'd kind of meet as a judicial group and make a decision. And then the one we're going to talk about today is administrative power, which is really to say hardly any power. That is how subdivisions work. And unfortunately, there's not a very satisfying answer to the question why. I can attempt a little bit, from what I could tell, to explain that, but over the years of development in American land use, zoning came first, right? Like when we were sort of expanding into the west and building, and as more people moved into towns, first thing we started to do is regulate zoning. And then as that became more regular, the next step was to regulate the subdivision process, because what would happen is, and now we're probably into the 50s, 60s, and 70s, is people would, subdivide these very speculative pieces of land and have no water and no infrastructure or anything like that, and it just created a big mess. So the legislature started to focus on requirements for subdivisions. And this really took off in the 90s with the Land Use Development Management Act, which we refer to as LUDMA. Sometimes you've heard that in your trainings and throughout the years. And what LUDMA was attempting to do, I think, was with subdivisions, was to make it an even playing field. And so that is, if a city council decided that the zoning was going to be R18, and that was their big decision, right? They decided to take it from agricultural to R18, then the actual subdividing of the land, as long as the applicant followed those rules, the city council needed to approve it. And that was the administrative decision, where you would say, okay, they did all these things. We have to approve it. And that's how it was for the last several years, from probably about the mid-90s to about 2023, which we'll see in a second. And so what would happen is the subdivisions would come up from the planning commission and then go to the city council. And there would kind of be this consternation about, well, I don't like this. And we would have to say, I would have to say as counsel to the city, well, you have to approve it because they did all the things they were supposed to do. And so that caused a lot of stress and sort of just, why are we even doing this? And so that was solved by the legislature by just taking that power completely away from the city council. And so the new process is that the planning commission reviews the preliminary plats, but then within Steve's office, the actual subdivision is approved. And that's how it works nowadays. And so that, in a nutshell, is what happened to subdivisions and why you don't see them anymore. Any questions on that? Is Mayor Lang on? I know that she was the one who, she's not on tonight. Okay.
Yeah, the mayor has to sign that final plan.
Sign it, yeah. Yeah.
So our current, sorry.
I think, as it went through all this, we as a council decided if it's gone through everything and they've checked all the boxes, why do we have to say, okay, they've checked the boxes?
Right.
You're smart enough to look at it, read all those boxes have been checked, so you can say that.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I think it was just that weird. And that's, I don't look at the legislative record or anything, but I think, again, it starts out as, okay, well, we can't have the city council being arbitrary and favoring one developer over the other. We've approved the zone. That was the big decision. The subdivision just comes along basically by matter of law, but it still stayed at the city council level for voting in that period. And so frankly, if that's the way the legislature wants it to happen, I think it's better this way now. And We don't have that problem because, we would be in trouble had the council done a full vote of no against one of the administrative decisions. So,
But just to add that, there are some at the Hill in the legislature and the governor also, who want to take away our legislative right of land use at the city level.
right.
And put that all under one group at the state level.
Yep.
So then we wouldn't have any choice. So if you like having local control, I would suggest that you voice your opinion to your legislator, and because every year they get louder and louder, they want to take it away. So
That's right. And we also are working very hard on that at the staff level. I mean, that's,
I know the league is also.
yeah,
So.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of the whole local control
Yeah.
issue.
I'm just gonna bring it up every time we talk about
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
this process, because I see it a lot.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Council calendar. Any input?
So I did see one thing, just because I'm a Machine Gun Kelly fan. not. You have him on the calendar twice.
Okay, well,
Once under May, from June 26th, and then so.
we'll adjust that. Thank you.
That's because he held a machine gun on us.
Is that it? My son knows Machine Gun Kelly fans, so.
Anything else on the calendar?
Mayor Pro Tem, if I could just bring up, Angel is working on scheduling the council holiday dinner. There were 2 dates that she said seemed to have worked, which was December 11th and then December 18th. The 11th, the Ridge is able to host that, but they are not able to do the 18th. So if the council would like to do the 18th, we would need to find a different location for that. And it's been a bit difficult to find a restaurant that can accommodate the size. I know Squatters is an option if the council would prefer the 18th and are okay with Squatters, or we can go ahead and schedule the 11th for the Ridge. But Angel just asked that I touch bases with everyone and see what your preference is so that she can get that figured out.
I think there were some calendar conflicts on the 11th, weren't there?
I think,
I'm not able to go on the 11th, but you don't have to schedule it for me.
But we can all go on the 18th.
yes, she didn't hear from anyone that the 18th would
18th.
not work.
Oh,
So, and again, if it's the 18th, we won't be able to do the Ridge, but we could do, I think Squatters is one of the only local restaurants that could potentially accommodate the amount of people that we would need, so. I don't know if there was a preference.
Or Scott's house.
come on over.
So,
Use his third car garage.
Oh, if I had one. Don't remind me. Yeah,
I'm okay with the 18th.
then I'm good with
The 11th,
Squatters.
sorry, the 18th, right?
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
so the 18th Squatters would be okay for everyone? Okay. We will get that. And thank you.
Okay. Potential future agenda items.
I ran into Carlton Christensen, who is with UTA. He's one of the board of trustees, UTA.
Chairman of the board.
Okay. And he suggested that they have somebody come out and just give us a communication on what they've got going on over the next year for UTA in West Valley. So that's a suggestion.
Would he be the best person for me to coordinate with? Okay.
Any other? Okay. Council reports.
Last Thursday, I attended the County Council of Governments quarterly meeting. And they did speak about the implementation plan for the winter response task force and code blue and everything. And I left my notes at home, so sorry.
Any others?
We had the Chick-fil-A grand opening. Several of us went. It's good. Very nice, very big.
It's the largest Chick-fil-A
I know, is that
in
crazy?
Utah.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing was, I went back, I couldn't stick around for the long line that was there at the start, so I went back after my appointments and meetings on in the evening, got in their drive-through line. As I got up to the, where they hand me the food, he said, "Weren't you here this morning?"
Great.
And I said, "Yeah, I came back."
That's good.
So they're aware of who was there for that grand opening too. I don't know if anybody went to the Mocha Development Tour last Tuesday in the morning. I think only a staff member was able to find the sign that wasn't there that told us where it was. I got to the address close to it, but Kilgore didn't know anything about that in their lab. So anybody from staff make it?
What was it?
Okay.
Oh,
MOCA.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know
Oh, yeah.
where.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Can
were
you
there.
tell us a little bit about it?
It's two buildings, industrial manufacturing buildings. The total, one is 142,000, the other is 148,000, give or take buildings. These are tilt-up concrete, industrial buildings, but they've done some really nice exterior. They're good-looking buildings. And I think come spring will be, when it's in full bloom, I'm hoping we'll be very pleased with the landscaping that they've done out there too. These are nice buildings.
We'll change what I saw when I drove past the address they gave me. It was mostly sagebrush and weeds.
It is yes, GPS gets a little confused when we're going that far west, yeah.
Okay, wasn't just me.
No.
Okay. Then it's telling me oh, come on, I'm here. I was also invited as a city council member, but also as a different assignment that I had ecclesiastically to a meeting involved with the National League of Cities that's in town. They held a meeting about Just Serve, which I worked in when it first came to the city, and which our city has started to work with and then kind of revised itself and has a program just as good that keeps local people in. But they would like cities to become Just Serve cities. And there's 3 requirements. The old resolution passing. Then find volunteers for Just Serve, and then serve. And make it so that and I think when we have the resolution each year about volunteering and encouraging all of our citizens to volunteer. It would be something very similar to that. And then my hometown, of course, they invited me as a Just Serve person to get that on Just Serve, and I did, and then they never needed it because they had their own volunteers that always came. But that was one of the things that was mentioned at that meeting. It's an idea that we could bat around maybe with my hometown and talk to them about it, see how they feel about it. So probably we'll work it through that area, go from there. Any other reports? Do we need a closed session tonight?
No, sir.
Okay. One final,
Motion to adjourn.
all in favor? Aye. Someday I'm gonna get people to vote by saying bye.
Bye.
Adjourn.